Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm an environmental student at Half Moon Bay High School. I think it's really important that we learn about our environment. That way we know how our actions affect it and what we can do to improve it and keep it preserved.
Hello everyone, my name's Phil and I'm an AP environmental student at Half Moon Bay High School. I believe it's important to learn about the world around us and understand how we impact it. I love the beach and go almost every day, and I'm so happy to be learning about the tide pools with everybody.
Hey guys, my name's Fish. I know, crazy name, right? How you guys doing? Good? Okay. My real name is Nick, by the way, but everyone calls me Fish because it's my last name. It's really funny. So I'm an environmental science student at the Half Moon Bay High School, and I absolutely love science. I decided to take this class out of whim, and I love it. It's tons of fun. And I love science for a whole bunch of reasons, and here's a couple of them. First of all, look at how beautiful it is. So today, we're by the ocean at the local tide pools in Ocean Colony, and it's just such a pretty place here, and I can't get enough of it. And second of all, when I was a kid, I used to spend a lot of time walking around in nature. I lived pretty close to a nice forest area, and I used to go on walks on it. It was really nice. And now I live by the beach, and I get to go on walks here all the time, and I love every minute of it. If you look over here, you can even see some of the really cool animals, like some seagulls. And we also got a whole bunch of sea plants beneath us, some really cool rocks, and then over there, a whole bunch of seals. I love it. Today, I'm going to be introducing the Friends of Fitzgerald Marine Reserve. Today, they're going to be teaching you all about the biotic and abiotic aspects of this area, the tide pools. They're also going to be teaching us about how we can affect the ocean and the tide pools and the shore around us. I hope you enjoyed today's presentation, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!
Hello everybody. Welcome to Fitzgerald Marine Reserve. I'm Ranger Rob Cala, and today we're going to take a look at the intertidal zone, otherwise known as the tide pools. The reserve has been closed for several months due to COVID, and as all of you are experiencing, there's a lot of adjustments we make in life. So today, I'd like to express some of my passions with you. In this 3-mile stretch of Northern California coastline, hidden amongst the tides, lives a kingdom of cnidaria and echinoderms, gastropods and mollusks. This bustling seascape explodes with life. This area, called the intertidal zone, is located in Moss Beach and is known as the Fitzgerald Marine Reserve.
I want to see a hermit crab. I want to see a starfish. I want to see a sea star. I want to see a dolphin. I want to see an anemone.
So I'm at the main ramp right now. This is our primary access point, the entrance to the main beach. Behind the camera is where the seals tend to haul out the most. That's our main beach. Behind me is called the syncline. It's a little cove area. It's quite beautiful. There's a lot of geology on this side that you could see. Millions of years of sedimentary layering and fossils. The tide is high right now. This area behind me at a low tide will often be exposed, and in that area is where we're going to find all of the magic. So I think now we're going to head down into the tide pools and we're going to see what we can find. That's the magic of any tide pool. You're able to explore and just calmly see what reveals itself to you. The bottom of the ocean is going to be revealed to us as the tide recedes. The sun, the moon, and the earth work together with gravitational pulls to create the tides. John Steinbeck, the author, talked about looking from the tide pool to the stars and back down again. When he talked about that, he said you could see a whole universe in the tide pools. And the exciting part is you'll find a pool and then you just spend some time there, just studying it. Who knows if you might discover something that we haven't seen in 7 years, like the Pycnopodia, which is the sunflower sea star. In 2013, the sunflower stars were afflicted with a virus. Their immune system would become compromised by this virus. And like humans, sunflower stars can suffer from the consequences of a virus. And we're hoping that someday we see them return. Echinoderms, which include the sea star community. Sunflowers, like all stars, have tube feet. These tube feet help propel them along. The yellow hole you see on the top of their bodies is called a madreporite. That ingests water into their system, and that flows outward to their tube feet. The interesting thing about sunflower stars is they're very soft. They feel rather flimsy when they're outside the water. Unlike the ochre stars, it's a hydrodynamic system of water used as pressure to propel them forward in the rocks and to crawl over any type of terrain and algae, and they can catch hold of their prey with their tube feet. They'll envelop it, and different stars such as the ochre star, the traditional sea star, will hold and invert their stomach into a mussel as they open up the mussel, just enough to get their stomach inside and suck out that meat. This was really neat to see. I had placed my camera on the tide pools amongst the coralline, tracking the sunflower star. When I reviewed the footage, there are these kelp crabs in the lower right of the screen letting them know, move along, buddy. We're not interested in you. Nothing to see here. Get on about. Stay away from us. It was really something. You could see how strong the kelp crab is. It hold the star a bit. And you could hear the clicking. I tried to turn the volume up so you could hear the clicking. The sunflower star is a predator of the tide pool, so it would likely consume one of these if it got hold of it. And on the front of the sunflower star, you have a good look of the madreporite, that yellow cyclops hole right there. You could even count the legs. The intertidal is a barometer for the health of the ocean, so oftentimes what you see in this area is an indication of what's going on in deeper waters. When you're walking around this area, you just go slow and steady. It's very uneven. And what's really neat about what we're looking at right here is this is the reason this is called Moss Beach. And if you look at all of the green, welcome to Moss Beach. Where we're standing is Seal Cove, and from right here at low tide, you get a really nice idea of what the reef looks like. This is late in the afternoon. It's very beautiful out here. We're still closed due to COVID, so it's really something special to be out when it's not too busy with people. And if you look all the way out there, you're going to see what's a spire. And this is actually a military marker from the 40s that they would hang a flag on to warn vessels that they were firing a target practice, and they were shooting at targets that were being flown past on dirigibles, which are basically balloons. And there you have it, the mystery of the military marker. We have red, green, brown algae that are in the reserve. NASA came out to this area once, several years ago, looking for a very specific bacteria that lives on the algae in the reserve. And what they were trying to do is highlight what they would find. It's like a biosignature in outer space, and they call it the red edge. And so they were out here, right out in this area, studying some of the algae and the bacteria that they could find. That was a pretty cool experience. And oftentimes it's the smaller animals that are really exciting. I mean, look at hermit crabs. Who doesn't like the personality when they're duking it out and then they're scavenging over some meals? Like, oh wow, like right over here. There were a whole bunch of hermit crabs scouring over a fish. And in this case, I'm going to take a closer look. I'm not sure what type of fish this is. But look at this. You can see how they're working their way around. The eye is still intact, which usually out in the marine environment, the eyes are one of the first pieces of a life form to go.
Hermit crabs are busy little scavengers. They keep the oceans clean. They pick fights with sea anemones. It's quite something to see the way their little marauders move through the reef and their little attitudes. And they'll eat everything that's on the bottom of the ocean that's organic. And they'll go out and they'll seek another home. When they outgrow their shell, they'll find another hermit crab and say, "Give me that shell."
Octopus, octopus, octopus.
Octopus are extremely intelligent animals. They can make their skin all kinds of different textures so that they can blend in with the rock, and they can also actually change colors. They actually have seen them in aquariums crawl out of one tank and crawl over into another tank and eat everything in the other tank, and then crawl back the next day into their home tank. So they're really smart animals, and they're doing kind of the same thing out on the reef. So even at low tide, they'll walk around kind of between the tide pools and go after animals.
And here we are with the red octopus. They have excellent eyesight, though they use touch and smell to find food, with thousands of chemical receptors. An octopus can fit through any opening that can accommodate its beak. A red octopus can live about 2 years. According to researchers, they've been found up to 600 feet deep on the continental shelf. The red octopus has 3 hearts. One pumps blood through the body, and the other 2 pump blood through the gills.
You really never really know what you're going to see. That you've seen some of the pink in there. That's the coralline. All the typical algae. There's a pretty big. Oh, look at this, bat star. He's upside down. So these little critters are really neat in here. They have webs, sort of a web-fingered look around the outside of their rays, and they're a lot of fun to see. That's one of the many species of sea star that we host out here. And this is an ochre. These are their traditional keystone species star. They feed on mussels. The white that you see on their back are called pedicellari, and it helps keep the outside area clean of their flesh. Bacteria and other organisms trying to grow on it, almost like little pincers. There's another one. See him hanging in there? It's possible he's munching away right there. This is a mussel bed, and we've got a very, very healthy looking orange ochre. Gorgeous animals. And this is just a feast for this big guy. I mean, this is really wonderful to see. Over the course of the last several years, as we talked earlier about the Pycnopodia, the sunflower star, and all the other species affected by the wasting disease, it's great to see these guys in here. We have animals that are the microscopic zooplankton and phytoplankton, which are the basis of all food in the sea, of all life in the sea. Going all the way up to our marine mammals, which are our pinnipeds, Phoca vitellina, which are a harbor seal population that lives here year-round. We're very, very fortunate to have them, and I hope that a lot of you have experienced them, and certainly when we get a chance to host you as guests at the reserve, we're going to be able to see them. But right now, let me show you this.
Boo! 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 Ah! Boo! No! No!
The beginning of it all. These 2 harbor seals are mating. There's something so sweet about the embrace. Female seals are smaller than the males, but they grow quite large when they're pregnant. This adult female is moving into the water to give birth. Oh, there he is! There's another adult expressing a little too much interest. Mom to the rescue. She grabs the pup by the nape of the neck, not unlike a tiger holding a cub. Mammals share interesting traits both on land and in the water. This new mom just gave birth. She's trying to nudge her pup down to feed. Harbor seal pups make a ma sound. This guy seems to be saying, "I'm hungry." Ma, quit fooling around. Though sometimes moms may look indifferent, they are very attentive to their pups. Moms and pups build a bond immediately by nuzzling their snouts. Pups can swim at birth, but they can get pretty tired. So they hitch a ride on mom and navigate the reef. Though very agile in the ocean, they are quite nervous on land, so it's important to keep your distance of at least 100 yards. It's a clumsy predicament finding your way around the reef when you have to inchworm along. Oops! I hope nobody saw that. Harbor seal pups will nurse for 30 days. After that, they're on their own. Harbor seal pups come in a variety of colors. They're all seeking one thing: mom's 48% fat milk. The milk is highly nutritious and helps protect them from disease. The intertidal area acts as a nursery for the moms to teach their pups the ways of the sea. Bring binoculars, use a scope, leave seals be. Keep your distance and enjoy the show.
I certainly hope you enjoyed your tour of the reserve today. Remember to be safe.
I like nudie brains.
Gumboot chitin is the biggest chitin in the world.
Anemones sting their prey with harpoons.
Monkey-faced eels live a very long time.
Nudibranchs are pretty
And poisonous.
roly-polies of the sea. I like chitin. Sea stacks have air in them.
The harbor seals are very shy.
Hermit crabs are picky about their shells. I like hermit crabs. Some allergies in ice cream.
Octopus are masters of camouflage.
Coralline is crunchy.
I like coralline.
Limpets go home
For grazing.
Sunflower stars have 24 legs.
24 legs?
In the meantime, leather star.
Bat stars have light sensors. Ochre stars spit their stomachs out to eat. I love sea anemone.
Mussels make glue.
I like barnacles. Turban snails make little highways.
When you come down to Moss Beach, enjoy yourself. Scientists and students have been coming down here since at least 1911.
Sculpin can live in one pool for a year. What is that? These anemones are clones. This anemone is blowing kisses.
Worldwide, the algae, including the phytoplankton, produce over 50% of the oxygen we breathe. It's a big reason why we need to keep the oceans clean and safe.
Thanks for visiting!
Thanks, guys. Hey, kids. How's it going? It's your friend Fish. And that was a really cool presentation. And now, I'd like to introduce you to me at home.
Hey guys, how's it going? It's Fish again, and I'm back at home. Today, we're gonna be talking about the activity that you guys get to do. So today's activity has a couple of materials. The first material that we need is a worksheet. Here it is. When you guys get your worksheets, it's gonna be blank. I've already filled mine out, and we're gonna go over it shortly. So for this worksheet, we're gonna need a couple of materials. What we need is a pencil to write the answers with, and we're gonna want some coloring materials like colored pencils, markers, or crayons. And we're gonna use those for the drawing section of this. So the first question is, what is something new that I have learned about the natural world around me here on the coast? So that's just asking, like, what is something new that you have learned that involves like the ecosystem around here, or like the forests or the oceans. So again, what's something new you've learned? For me, I recently learned that erosion caused by the ocean will cause the cliffs, like by the ocean, to recede by around 20 to 40 yards over the next 80 years. And that's caused by erosion, which is from the ocean. So that's what I put for the first question. You guys will have different answers. For the second question, it says, what is something that I can do to make a difference in my local ecosystem? So by local ecosystem, it's saying like your local like natural area. And for me, something that I can do is I can spread awareness about protecting and preserving the local ecosystem by like spreading it, like by spreading the awareness on social media sites like Instagram and Snapchat. And that's what I put. You guys might have different answers. And the final question is, why are wild open spaces so important to the coastside where I live? And for me, what I said is they are important so that the animals and plants that live here have a place to survive without human interference. So people have like inhabited a large part of the world. We have like cities and towns that take up a whole bunch of space, and sometimes that ends up disrupting like the homes of animals. And by having a wild open space, it gives those animals a space to live where people like me and you won't be able to like bother them, so they can be like live in peace. So once we've answered these questions, we go on to the second half of this worksheet, which is a really fun drawing. So draw a local nature space that you have visited or learned about from one of the virtual presentations. So I haven't seen any of your virtual presentations yet, but I have been to a local nature space. I went to the tide pools earlier. So I drew a little picture of the tide pools. And once you finish that, you're done with the worksheet. Nicely done, guys. Well, I'm gonna send you guys back to me at the beach. See you there.
Hey guys, it's Tide Pool Fish. How are you guys doing? I hope you guys enjoyed the presentation and got to see all the work I did for you guys. And I'm really looking forward to seeing your drawings. They should be pretty cool. And I got one last note for you guys before I go. Right now, with everything going on, the world's a really strange place, and the environment's going through a lot of tough changes, especially with climate change and such. But if I can say one thing to you guys right now, all I can say is if you get the chance, go out and explore nature. This is a really beautiful place, a really beautiful world that we have, and it might not be like this forever. So if you can do it and be safe, go ahead and give it a try. Well, it's been a blast talking to you guys. I'll see you later. Woo!